Hi, Michelle Cadison here, your host to this video log Let's Talk About. So this is episode 3, part 2. First part, we talked a bit about what aging is and how toxicity in your cells and normal cell death can affect the aging process for a person. And in this section, what we're going to talk about is a bit about how intermittent fasting and cleansing and the science behind that, how that actually can biohack the aging process. Right, so I've deliberately done today's video with no makeup or anything, and as I explained in the first video, I started smoking when I was like 15, 14, it might have been 14, I can't really remember. It was a long time ago anyway. In my 40s now, for most of my life, I've been a smoker and a heavy drinker. And in the last few years, I've been reversing the impacts of what I did in my earlier years now. I'm quite proud of my achievements, actually. And so to just look at the science behind the intermittent fasting, right? So there's been a number of research studies that show that intermittent fasting and cleansing through calorie restriction and flooding your body with nutrients can actually cause the stem cells of your body to regenerate your immune system. There's been, so one of the studies that I looked at was from the University of Southern California. I'll put links to all the sources for the research that I've done around this, and so you can have a look for yourself, especially if you really want to delve into the science, because for me personally, I find the science quite fascinating. 2016, the Nobel Prize winner, I'm really bad at pronouncing his name. It's Yoshirini. Yeah, I can't. So look at the link that I put below, because he actually won the Nobel Prize in 2016 in his research in this area, in how cells will regenerate and use cells that are affected by toxicity and stuff to regenerate cells. So really, really interesting science. And then there was also one that showed that prolonged fasting can reduce a particular enzyme, which is PKA, which is linked to aging, and also to hormones that have been linked to increasing cancers and tumor growths. So that's some of the science behind it. The next thing I'm going to really quickly touch on is what's the difference between fasting and cleansing. So fasting is completely not eating anything, just drinking water for 12 hours or more. So it's a complete abstinence of food for 12 hours or more, whereas cleansing is actually using fruit and vegetable juices and drinking that for 12 hours or more. So that's sort of the difference between the two. Fasting, nothing. Cleansing, just juices. Okay, historically, there's been a lot of people in ancient history right up to today that have used fasting for health and biohacking. Pythagoras, Mahatma Gandhi, and Tony Robbins, 3 that straight up, and I'll put links to research about those guys as well and what they did. So that's a bit about what fasting is and the difference between fasting and cleansing. That's me for this part of this episode. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about how to fast and what the different types of fasts are that you can do, combining fasting, intermittent fasting, and juice cleansing to biohack your aging and your health, watch the next part of this series, because I'll go into a bit more detail of that in part 3. Thanks, guys. Bye.